One choice, just one choice, could have rewritten the destiny of England. Imagine a young Catherine of Aragon, kneeling in the flickering candlelight of a Tudor chamber, her hands clasped tightly in prayer. Across the hall, Henry VIII paces restlessly, his mind consumed by one relentless obsession: a son to secure his dynasty. What if Henry had never looked elsewhere? What if he had remained loyal to Catherine? The consequences of that single decision would ripple through history. No dissolved monasteries, no terrifying executions in the streets, no dramatic rise of Elizabeth I to the throne, a different England, a different world. Catherine's devotion, her intelligence, her Spanish alliances, all of it hung in the balance. And Henry, torn between desire, duty, and ambition, unaware that a single choice could change everything. How different would England and the world have been if Henry VIII had stayed loyal to Catherine of Aragon? Before we dive deeper into the what if, we need to understand the world Catherine of Aragon and Henry VIII lived in. Catherine was no ordinary queen. She was the daughter of Ferdinand and Isabella of Spain, the very monarchs who united Spain and sponsored Columbus's voyage. Politically powerful, fiercely devout, and raised to command respect, Catherine carried the weight of an empire in her blood. Her marriage to Henry VIII wasn't just about love, it was a calculated alliance, a bond meant to secure peace between two of Europe's greatest powers. But Henry was consumed by a singular, obsessive desire, a male heir to secure the Tudor dynasty. Catherine gave him Mary, a daughter who would one day become queen, but she suffered repeated miscarriages. With each loss, Henry's frustration grew, and the court's whispers grew louder. England needed a king, and in Henry's eyes, a daughter simply wasn't enough. The stakes were enormous. The Tudor succession was fragile. The Catholic Church held immense authority over England, and Europe watched every move like a chess game. One misstep could spark conflict with Spain, the Pope, or other rival nations. Every marriage, every court intrigue, and every whispered secret carried consequences far beyond the palace walls. And yet, behind the political tension was human sorrow. Catherine's grief was quiet but deep, her loyalty unwavering, her love tested at every turn. Henry's frustration simmered, turning ambition into obsession, desire into impatience. Love, loyalty, duty, and ambition all collided in the Tudor court. Every choice they made wasn't just political, it was profoundly personal. This was a world on the knife's edge. And one simple decision, one act of loyalty or betrayal, could rewrite the course of history forever. Imagine the moment. Henry VIII stands in the dim glow of the royal chamber, the weight of the crown pressing down on him. Across the room, Catherine of Aragon kneels, her hands folded in prayer, a quiet strength radiating from her every movement. For the first time, Henry doesn't see a political obstacle or a failed pregnancy. He sees Catherine, the woman who has stood by him, who has given England loyalty, stability, and a daughter worthy of a throne. He reflects on love, duty, and the immense consequences of a single choice. And then he chooses loyalty. In this moment, history bends. The whispers of court intrigue fade. Divorce papers are never drawn. Anne Boleyn never captures the king's obsession. Jane Seymour and the ambitious Boleyn remain minor players, their fates tied to a court no longer consumed by scandal. Henry and Catherine's marriage, once strained under grief and unmet expectations, is renewed. There's trust where suspicion once lingered. Quiet moments, once stolen in fleeting glances, now blossom into partnership. Together, they grieve past losses, their shared sorrow forging a bond stronger than before. With personal obsession set aside, Henry's focus shifts. Diplomacy, governance, and the intricate dance of European politics take center stage. England, under a stable Tudor marriage, begins to navigate the world with clarity and purpose. No religious upheavals yet, no bloody power struggles, only a kingdom poised for measured growth and careful alliances. This was a Henry VIII who ruled not just with fire and desire, but with wisdom tempered by love. A king whose loyalty to his queen reshaped the very foundation of his reign and the destiny of England. With Henry's choice made, the ripples of loyalty spread across England. The Tudor succession, once precarious, becomes unshakable. Mary, long seen by some as a fragile heir, now stands secure in her legitimacy. The possibility of a male heir looms, not as a desperate hope, but as a natural continuation of a strong dynasty. Religion, too, remains steady. England stays loyal to Rome. The Anglican Church never rises, and monasteries continue to flourish. Their spires dot the countryside, centers of learning, charity, and the careful stewardship of wealth. Education thrives. The poor find care and guidance. The cultural and spiritual backbone of the nation remains intact. The Protestant Reformation, which once tore England apart, is delayed, or perhaps never arrives with the same force. With the court stabilized, politics take a new form. Noble rivalries quiet. Factional disputes, once fueled by ambition and marital scandal, shrink in the shadow of a unified monarchy. Henry's authority strengthens, not through fear or blood, but through the confidence of a kingdom guided by order and loyalty. This domestic stability reshapes society itself. Courtly culture blossoms under calm rather than crisis. Art, literature, and scholarship develop under the steady hand of a devoutly Catholic and politically secure England. Poets, painters, and thinkers find patronage and protection, their works reflecting harmony, intellect, and faith. In short, a kingdom that might have burned with rebellion, religious upheaval, and personal vendettas now breathes with measured grace. The foundations laid in this period promise a stronger, more cohesive England, one where culture, faith, and governance align under the watchful yet loving eyes of Henry and Catherine. Henry VIII's choice of loyalty did not just reshape England, it sent shockwaves across Europe. With Catherine of Aragon at his side, England remains firmly allied with Spain. Diplomatic channels hum with coordination, military plans are shared, and historical conflicts that once divided nations are avoided. The continent begins to feel the quiet power of a united, stable England. Henry is no longer isolated. England, guided by a steady hand and a loyal queen, becomes a pillar of Catholic influence. Protestant movements, deprived of England as a foothold, struggle to gain traction. Across Europe, monarchs notice a kingdom that balances ambition with faith, authority with stability, a kingdom capable of shaping alliances rather than succumbing to religious rebellion. Even the reaches of the New World are altered. North American colonization, historically influenced by Protestant England, is delayed or redirected entirely. Instead, England might join Spain in early Catholic ventures, sending explorers under a banner of unity and faith rather than rebellion and independence. The Protestant-driven colonies, which would later form New England and reshape the Americas, may not rise when history originally imagined. In every capital, every court, the consequences of Henry's single decision are felt. A loyal king, a steadfast queen, and a stable realm ripple outward, reshaping the balance of power. Europe watches a New England emerge, not a kingdom fractured by obsession and religious upheaval, but a Catholic stabilizing force, quietly influencing wars, diplomacy, and exploration. The choice to remain loyal didn't just change kings and queens, it reshaped the very soul of England. Without the turbulent reign of Elizabeth I, the court that inspired Shakespeare, Marlowe, and Spenser is different. The literature that emerges may still be brilliant, but its lens shifts. Stories reflect loyalty, faith, diplomacy, and measured ambition rather than fiery nationalism or Protestant zeal. Plays and poems may celebrate virtue and alliance rather than rebellion and defiance. Social structures, too, evolve differently. The gentry, historically enriched by the spoils of dissolved monasteries, rises more slowly. Feudal hierarchies remain intact, preserving tradition and order. The kingdom retains stability, but at the cost of some social mobility. England is steadier, less revolutionary, more anchored in its historical foundations. Even the pursuit of knowledge is altered. Catholic stability, while protective, may temper the radical intellectual movements that would later sweep Europe. Science and philosophy progress, but with caution, England's Renaissance unfolds more slowly, deliberately, without the sparks ignited by upheaval and rebellion. The result is a kingdom of measured brilliance. Art, literature, and ideas flourish, but they do so in a world guided by faith, loyalty, and continuity. England becomes a nation defined less by dramatic revolution and more by steady cultivation, a society where culture grows quietly, thoughtfully, and with enduring purpose. Henry VIII, in this alternate history, is remembered very differently. Gone are the stories of tyranny, scandal, and blood. Instead, history speaks of a king who was loyal, measured, and devout, a stabilizer of his realm rather than a disruptor. His name echoes not in fear, but in respect, his legacy defined by governance, diplomacy, and the quiet strength of his marriage to Catherine of Aragon. Without divorces, executions, or the dissolution of monasteries, England's cultural and religious fabric remains intact. Monasteries continue to educate, care for the poor, and support the arts. The court thrives under a sense of order and moral authority, not scandal or fear. The next generation grows under this stability. Mary, the first mature secure in her legitimacy, prepared to play traditional diplomatic roles rather than fight to assert her crown. Elizabeth never faces questions of legitimacy, and the dramatic persona of the Virgin Queen never emerges. Edward VI, if he exists at all, assumes a different place in history, either never born or born under circumstances that reinforce dynastic continuity rather than upheaval. England itself looks and feels different. Its identity is less defined by rebellion and Protestant nationalism, more closely integrated with Catholic Europe. Protestant-driven independence movements, both at home and in the colonies, are delayed or fundamentally altered. The kingdom, shaped by loyalty and prudence, becomes a steady force in European politics, a nation of faith, tradition, and cautious ambition. A king remembered not for his excesses, but for his wisdom and restraint. A Henry VIII who ruled history itself by choosing love over obsession. Loyalty brought England stability, but at what cost? A kingdom spared the chaos of religious upheaval and dynastic drama might also miss the sparks that ignite greatness. Literature, exploration, naval power, and the very sense of national identity developed differently, or perhaps more slowly. The Golden Age, fueled by conflict and adversity, may never fully emerge. Catherine of Aragon, in this timeline, is celebrated not just as a queen, but as a symbol of unwavering loyalty and political acumen. Anne Boleyn and Jane Seymour fade into minor footnotes, their historical influence diminished by the absence of scandal and ambition. Elizabeth, never tested by adversity, grows into a figure of quiet dignity, but perhaps never the brilliant, fiery monarch who inspired a nation. And here lies the philosophical question: could perfect loyalty have been worse for England in the long run? Chaos, rebellion, and personal ambition, as destructive as they were, often catalyze creativity, courage, and global influence. Without the storms of history, would England have risen as dramatically, or would it have remained steady, secure, and ultimately quieter on the world stage? One choice. One moment of loyalty or obsession can ripple across centuries. Politics, religion, culture, exploration, all shaped by the flick of a crown, the quiet courage of a queen, or the ambition of a king. History could have been kinder, or perhaps less brilliant. What kind of England would you want? A kingdom of calm stability, or one forged through fire and daring? Imagine the possibilities. Every decision, every what if, holds a story waiting to be told. If you enjoyed exploring this alternate history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us in imagining the countless what-ifs that could have changed our world forever.